Hello everybody, welcome to this week's webinar. We're going to talk about how to control your golf ball, which involves the club head and the club face. We are here at beautiful Tiffany Green's Golf Club in Kansas City, Missouri. We're brought to you by Medicus Golf and KickX Golf. Again, today is Red Friday, so go Chiefs. Royals almost got it. Holy smoke. Well, it is what it is, and hopefully next year they'll do better. So, last week we talked about the 3 keys to hitting it solid. Now this week we're going to talk about the 2 keys to get the ball started where you want and add whatever amount of curve that you want.
Right.
So the first thing is we have to learn how to control the club face, because by and large that's going to give you your initial starting direction.
Yep.
Then we're going to talk about controlling the club head, 2 different pieces of the golf club, and where that club head should swing. So we've got a couple of things here. We've got a Medicus VisionTrack here. There will be a pop-in that you can take a look at it. That will help you in determining the sweet spot path, we call it, that the club swings on. Then we also have a device called the ShotShaper. And it's a device you set your golf ball on, and it shows you a line to swing on and the appropriate club face relative to that line in order to shape your shot. So, i.e. ShotShaper. All right, so let's talk about club face control first. So when you're controlling the club face, your target side hand, so for us right-handers, that's our left hand. Whatever this left hand is primarily doing is what that club face is going to do. And it can basically make 3 motions. I'm going to put this tennis racket on here so you can see this just a little more here. And I'm going to turn this way. So now, if I come through the shot and I hold the face this way, you'll see how the tennis racket is facing the sky. Like you can see it from this angle, right? I can also come in and have it halfway in between, which would look like this, between the one I just did. And then I can also have it come through here and it rolls as it releases and rolls, and it gets right into impact. And the roll is happening long before impact, obviously. This face is going to look like that. So you have one that goes like this, one that goes like this, and one that goes like this. So that club face, and what it's doing is not only going to change trajectory, but it's going to change the shape of the shot. So, you can't overdo any of these, that's for sure. So the one thing that's relative is how this club face moves relative to your, what we call the alternate target line or the sweet spot path. So if I was set up on here, and let's say that this line is my foot stance, this line is the line that the club swings on, the club head. So if I take it back up and in along that path, now I come down on that path, if my face is square to that path, the only thing that's going to happen is it will be a push out to the right at this point. If my face is moderately closed to this path, the ball will still start to the right but draw back to the left. If I come in and the face is open to this path, the ball is going to start farther right than this path and continue to go right. Now, if you're somebody that fades the ball, you don't want to take this whole thing and align it left of your target. If you're someone that draws the ball, you may want to take it and align it to the right of your target. Now, Brenndan's got a little tool here that will kind of show you also how this club face works. So if you'll make a couple of moves in there and talk about that.
Yeah, it's basically along the exact same lines Chuck was talking about. This time instead of a tennis racket, you can see we've got a very big size club head right here. So, again, you've got 3 motions that the club face can make, and I'll do kind of do it from this side here so you can see it a little bit. So, like Chuck was showing you with a tennis racket, you can come down and the face can either be slightly open or not really having that roll feel to it, or it can have a small roll field where it's more at a 40, kind of a 45 going along your target line, and then also a full roll field.
Right.
So that's turn
around and face them and do that same thing. So I can see that. Turn around this way. There you go.
There we go. So this would be a no roll feel. See how the white pointer here is going more towards the sky, and then half roll feel. See how that's more of a 45 going across the target line?
Right.
And then a full roll, where now you can see the pointers basically run parallel to the ground.
Yeah, on level to the ground.
Yeah.
So, which would also at that point be at a right angle to the target line,
Yes.
basically. So, those two keys are what you have to work on to get this ball started where you want and then control the shape. So, the other thing is though, ball position is going to play a large part of how you're going to hit this shot. So, let me grab this hula hoop real quick. So, and we'll look at it from this side, for example. So, if I had a golf ball,
I'm letting Chuck do all the work today, by the way.
and I'm going to put it right here on the VisionTrack. So, if I had this ball positioned exactly at the lowest point of this hula hoop, you can see how this club is coming down, coming down, coming down. It's actually bottoming out. And at this point, it's relatively straight to the target line. But if I move the ball back in the stance, and it's coming down, this club head is still traveling, as you can see, outward. Too far forward in the stance, the club head has already reached bottom and is now traveling inward. So that club will be traveling inward now, which would mean that the path is now going a little more to the left.
Yep.
And obviously, you don't want to play a draw if your path is going to the left,
Exactly.
because that's the old pull hooks,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, again, you can see, and I don't know if you can see this as well from the face-on view, but again, if I catch the ball back here, you can see how the club head is still moving down, 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 all the way to level. If I catch the ball up in front of that bottom, well, here's the exact bottom, so that's level. So I'm catching the ball back here, that means the path is still going to the right. So that would look like that. It'd be tilted. If I catch it at the absolute bottom, it's square. And if I catch it past the bottom, the circle tilts to the left a little more. So not only do you have to control your hands, the face, which is face control, you have to control the path, right? And then you have to control that ball position, do whatever you want.
Yes.
Right? So at the end of the day, you know, we have training aids through KickX Golf and Medicus Golf that will help us do these things. And I can tell you, we have any number of players on various tours that use this. These are already the best players in the world, right? They have their VisionTrack out, and they're just tracing this plane back and down. It doesn't really matter if you can swing on here and shift up, and then shift back down to it. You can take it more around and flatter and come back to it. It doesn't really matter at that point, because again, once you get it to here, you can shift any different plane that you feel like is going to help you do that. Right? So, anything else you want to add to this today?
No, I mean, you know, just like you were talking about, I mean, you need to watch, players need to get in the habit of seeing where's the ball starting and what's the curvature look like up in the air. I mean, that's going to give you pretty much everything you need to know as far as face and path, and what little things you need to look at adjusting.
Right, and another thing we do is, if you go ahead and set up here, Brenndan, with this, we'll use this. We also will set rods out, and we set those out about 10 feet. So if a player wants to draw the ball, they have to consistently start it to the right-hand side. So if you've got a ball starting left, you know the face is closed down. If it's curving farther left, you know the path is farther left, or farther to the right. It starts left and curves right.
Yes.
And if you're going to fade it, you move it over here to this side of the golf ball and get them to start the ball on the opposite side. So you don't have to set this in line with your target line. You can set it with the VisionTrack. You set it kind of in between both, right? The other great thing the VisionTrack does, if you go ahead and set up here, Brenndan, has a little swivel arm on it. So if you're a player that swings too much outward, you would miss this swivel arm every single time. So we might ask that player, as soon as they get the ball, to feel the club go left more so they can trip that lever. Then you got the person, right, that sets up. Go ahead and set up there. I'm going to set this out here about 2 inches.
Okay.
Go ahead and go to the top. Then you have the player that swings it from the outside, so it's coming outward to inward. they will come across it and hit a T and they'll swipe that across.
Yeah.
So it's multi-purpose, and you can use this for your pitch shots, you can use it for your bunker shots basically, and your full swing. So ultimately we have to control those. So I'm going to see, it looks like we have a couple of questions. Let me check on these real quick. All right, so from Rex. So if I am pulling the ball, I need to move the ball a little farther back in my stance? That's his question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rex, first, what you need to think about too is if you're pulling it, for sure, we know the face is getting shut. So I would definitely look at your ball position, make sure you know you're not getting it too far forward, because again, we talked about, the further forward you get it, that can definitely affect, what this face is doing as far as when's it rolling, and what have you. So maybe move it back a little bit and see if that helps you.
All right, we have another one from Eldon. How much hand-arm rotation on the downswing do you apply? Well, and again, that would all depend. That would all depend on
There's a lot of factors.
what's
there.
happening there.
Yeah.
It's really not hand rotation, because if Brenndan just holds his arm out, I'm going to have him hold it out here so you guys can see it, and I hold his elbow and his forearm, now try to turn your wrist the other way. There you go. It doesn't turn very good. Now, if I let him rotate his elbow and his forearm, now he can turn quite a bit. So you want to feel like that rotation comes from the elbow and the forearm and not from the wrist. Because most people, when they try to actually supinate that wrist, what they actually do is they wind up bending it.
Yes.
All right, so when you bend it, that does close the club face.
Yeah.
But it also gets the club out of line, so it would violate, key number 3. So I think that's all the questions we have today. We will see you guys next week. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you got lots of candy up for the Halloween kids tonight.
Stay safe.
It's going to be a little cool here, so most of the kids are going to dress up as polar bears. We'll see you next week. Thanks.